All right, does anyone remember what series we're in? What series are we in, Lily? Lily. Lily. Lily, what series are we in? We talked about Where's Waldo book and the Look and Find Bible. Kind of just said it. Do you remember? No, just look and find. That is a series we're in. We're talking about, can anyone guess what book we're talking about? Keely, take a guess. What book are we talking about? The Bible. Yes, we're talking about the Bible, a book that has how many different books? Does anyone remember? Raise your hand. Robbie. 66 books. How many authors? Benny? 40. Does anyone remember how many years of a period the Bible is written over? Starts with a 15, ends with 100. How many years? Luke, you remember? Lucas, you want to help out? 1,500, period of 1,500 years. Yes, a book with 66 different books, 40 different authors, written over a period of 1,500 years. That's a long time. And in this series, we've talked about, hey, Victoria, we've talked about how the Bible isn't just like one single book, like all of these ones up here, right? It's a library. It has a ton of different books over a long period of time. Do you have to start at the beginning of the Bible and read nonstop till you get to the end? No, you don't. There are a ton of different things in there that you can start, maybe in the book of Matthew, maybe in the book of John, all of these, or if you want to start at the beginning of Genesis. Who likes history? I like history. History is one of my favorite subjects. Who likes poetry books? Like Dr. Seuss, Green Eggs, and Ham. Who likes these fable books? Ooh, like this one, The Mother Goose. All of these different types of books are in the Bible. There are a bunch of historical figures in the Bible that you get to read about. Sometimes there's some books in there that are poetry books. And there are some fables, these stories that you hear about, all these fables in the Bible. Is it going to make sense if you are reading in the book of Matthew and trying to read it as a fable with Jesus talking, Jesus living his life, and you're reading it as one of these fables, one of these mythical books, like this giant fox? Is it going to make sense? No, because Jesus didn't fight, a giant fox. He didn't ride a giant moose to the moon. But what he did, though, is traveled around, going through all these historical sites, doing all of these amazing things. All of these different books are in the Bible. Okay, not exactly this book. You're not going to read the Bible and find Green Eggs and Ham. Those kinds of books, right? What is your favorite type of book to read? Do you like history books? No, what? You don't like history? I like history books. Who of you like poetry books? I like poetry books. I like this one. I don't know what a giraffe and a half is. Look, we're not doing this. I don't know what a giraffe and a half is. Who likes fable books? Like Aesop's Fables, sure. Or Mother Goose. Or The Ugly Duckling, which ended up being a goose. All right. You can pick up the Bible and you can start reading from any spot you want. The Bible isn't in order. It is spread out across a period of 1,500 years, and you'll read different things throughout each different book of the Bible that references maybe other books, like some of the miracles that Jesus performed. You all paying attention? What's 2 plus 2? Knock it off. All right. Does it take just Sunday for us to read the Bible? No. You can read the Bible at any point throughout your day, your week, maybe a night before bed, right? Do any of you have a favorite book of the Bible? Which favorite book, Lincoln? Probably Matthew. I like Matthew. Anyone else? Favorite book of the Bible? What's yours, Emily? What? I heard you the first time. John. John's a good one. What? All right. Does it take an adult to open up the Bible and start reading? No! Can any of you open the Bible and start reading? Do you have to start from the beginning? No, you can open up the Bible. This is not the Bible. This is the Statue of Liberty. You can open up the Bible and start reading right from page 17, page 113, or page 1 if you wanted to. You can open up Revelation right at the end and start reading. But you don't have to go through each section in order. You all as kids can open it up and start reading and read exactly what you want. Read where you like, what you like, and you will find all of these different types of books, not all these different books, all these types of books in the Bible. But Bible, Benny, what's your favorite part of the Bible? Talked all about it.
Bible book.
Benny, what's your favorite part of the Bible, dude? All right, look, we're going to talk about this. No, you just like all the Bible? All right, some pretty amazing things happen in the Bible. We're going to talk about this here a little bit more. What's the big idea? What's the big idea? Keely, big idea. Open. No. Open. Yeah. Keely, come up and do some actions or some movements. Some what Jordan said. All right, everybody stand up. Everybody stand up. All right, Keely, what's the big idea? Open. Open. Up. Open and look. Quick question. How do you read the Bible? It's right there. Lincoln, how do you read the Bible? You open it up and you start reading. We're talking about in this series about the Bible and how it's a big library, and you don't have to just find the first book in the library. You don't just walk in and find the first book and start reading. You get to pick out through the library what book you like. You guys can sit down. You're going to stand up here in a few minutes, so be ready. You open up the Bible. Kaylee, thank you. Thank you. All right, you open up the Bible and you start reading. You don't pick up the first book in the library and just start reading. You get to go through the library and find out what you like. The Bible, you get to open and look. It's a book about Jesus throughout the entirety of the Bible, and you got to open and look and find, and you will find Jesus in this. Does anyone remember the verse to remember? Do you know the verse to remember? Do you?
Yeah.
What is it? Do you want Granny Joy to help you out? Pastor Granny Joy? Let's play the video.
Hello, children, it's me, Bible Granny, here to tell you our verse to remember. You know our verse to remember is a verse that we want you to remember. Our verse to remember for this series is Matthew 7:7. Oh, easy. Matthew chapter 7, verse 7. Now here's what the verse says. I will tell you, and then we'll do some actions. The verse says, ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Yes, you will. Knock, and the door will be open to you. Now, you know we always do actions because it helps us remember our verse. Here are some great actions for you today. Careful not to mess up the hair. We should go like this. Ask. Talkie, talkie. Yes, you like to talk. I know you. Ask and it will be given like a sweet apple pie on a warm day. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek like you're using some glasses. These are prescription lenses. Seek and you will find. Yes, you will. You will find it. Knock and the door will be opened to you. Let's do it one more time to make sure you remember it. It goes like this. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, look for it everywhere, and you will find. Knock, and the door be opened to you. Yes. Okay, now let's remember that verse to remember. And children, do not forget that the secret to deep fried butter is a healthy dose of margarine. Oh, have a great day. Granny loves you. Granny loves you.
All right. We're going to do the actions. I need everybody to stand up. You want to come up here and do it? Come on, Lily. All right. Stand right here where everyone can see you. All right. Are you ready? Do the actions. Ask, and it will be given. Seek, and you will find. Yes, you will. Knock, and the door will be opened to you. It comes from Matthew 7:7. We're going to do it one more time. Quick. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you. It comes from Matthew 7:7. Thank you, Lily. Does anyone remember what will happen if you remember the verse to remember? What happens, Lincoln? A piece of candy. Oh, two. All right. We're going to talk about all this here in a little bit more. But first, we're going to do what? Play a game. You guys need to wake up. Game time. I'm sweating.
All right, you guys, you want to play a game with some tortillas? Tortillas? All right, so what's
of the series we're in? Lily? No, that's what we're talking about. What's the name of our series? All right, Sophia. Look and find. What are we looking in? What are we looking? Ruthie? The Bible. And what are we looking for? Good job, Lily. Jesus, yes. So, what we're talking about today is, what's our big idea? Open and look. What are you opening? What are we looking for? Jesus, yes. Okay, so here's the deal. Mr. Blake told you guys earlier, the Bible's not just one big book. I know it kind of looks like one, right? But it's actually made up by 66 different books. Most Bibles have a list at the beginning, okay? So each of the books tell different stories, okay? Some of them do repeat themselves, but they tell them in a different way. Like, for example, okay, you guys know Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, right? You've heard of them, okay? Those are called the four Gospels, okay? They tell us all about Jesus and his life, okay? But they tell us different in different ways. Victoria, are you focused? Okay. What we're talking, Mr. Blake asked you guys earlier. Remember he talked about history, and he talked about poetry, and he talked about fables. There's different books in the Bible that do have history. They do have historical facts in them. Then there's some books in the Bible that have poetry in them. Everything's written in there for a reason, and it's all for us that we could learn from if we wanted to read it. But we don't have to read the Bible like a normal book. We can open it and read it, just like Mr. Blake talked about. Okay? What's the most important thing to remember about when you read the Bible? Lincoln? What are we looking for when you read the Bible? Yes, you're looking for Jesus. Where is Jesus in this story? What is it trying to teach me about Jesus? What is it trying to teach me about who I'm supposed to live? Okay. You guys want to hear a really kind of embarrassing and funny story? Okay, this is completely and totally my fault. I will own it right here and now. It is totally my fault, okay? There was this one time when I was little, we went out to lunch, and my whole family was there. Like my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my brother, my sister. My whole family was there. There's a lot of people, and we all had different cars, okay? We were at this restaurant, and when we got done eating, my mom asked my sister to take me to the bathroom so I could use the bathroom and wash my hands. Well, she told us when we got up from the table, Hannah, stay with your sister. That did not happen, okay? So I used the bathroom, I washed my hands. My sister was still using the bathroom. I left the bathroom, and I went and found my grandma, and I got in my grandma's car, and we all went to my grandma's house. But here's the thing. When my parents saw me get in my grandma's car, they assumed my sister also got in my grandma's car, and we left my sister at the restaurants. And so, okay, now here's the deal. She was a teenager, okay, so we didn't leave a kid, all right? But when we got to my grandma's house, my dad realized that my sister was not in the car, so he got back in the car to go get my sister, and she was actually walking down the road because it wasn't that far from my grandma's house, okay? So I said it wasn't my fault that my sister got left at the restaurant, all right? I tell you that story because the Bible story we have to tell you is a little similar to that, okay? Are you ready? So, remember Christmas time, we celebrate Jesus' birth, right? Jesus was born as a baby in Bethlehem. Well, this story happens when Jesus is about 12 years old, okay? He's about 12 years old in this story. There was a tradition in Israel during this time that every year during this one certain time, they celebrated what was called Passover. It was this big deal. It was important to them. It was a festival. And what every family did during Passover is that they would travel to Jerusalem and they would celebrate it with everybody there, okay? So Jesus is traveling with his parents to Jerusalem. They're going there to celebrate Passover. And one of the parts of Passover is that everybody would go to the temple, which was kind of like their church, and they would pray, and they would talk to God, and they would worship. Then, at the end of Passover, everybody would pack up, and they would travel home with their families. Okay, so that's what happened. Jesus traveled with his family to Jerusalem. They were there for Passover, okay? Passover was over. His family got up and left. They packed up their stuff, but guess who did not leave with them? Jesus. Jesus did not. His parents assumed that he was walking with some of their other family, kind of like my dad did with my sister, okay? His parents assumed that he was with his other family, so they travel. They leave. They travel for about a day, and then they go looking for Jesus. And they realize that he is not with any of their family, and he's not with them. So they start getting really worried, and they start getting scared. And they go back to Jerusalem, and they are looking for him for 3 whole days. They could not find him anywhere. They were so worried. 3 days. Imagine, my sister was only missing for maybe 10 minutes, okay? Okay, 3 whole days, his parents cannot find him. Imagine how scared his mom probably was. Then they decide, okay, he's not anywhere where we've looked. Maybe he's still at the temple. So they go and they look in the temple for him. Guess where they find Jesus? He was in the temple. But here's the deal. Jesus was not only just at the temple. He was sitting at the temple and he was talking with some of the priests, which is basically kind of some of the pastors that were there, the teachers, because they didn't have a Bible like we do. They had something a little different, but most of what they knew about God is what they would talk and what they would tell stories about God and what he wants. And so Jesus was sitting in the temple and he was talking with the priests and he was asking them questions. And not only was he asking them questions, but he was also answering some of their questions. Because remember, Jesus is the Son of God, right? He knows everything. Jesus was sitting there and he was talking to them and asking them questions and answering their questions. And then all of a sudden his parents come running up and they're like, Jesus, what are you doing? Why did you leave us? And Jesus just calmly tells them, this is where God wanted me to be. If it was important for Jesus, who is the Son of God, to sit and listen and to ask questions about what was in the Bible, don't you think it's just as important for us to know what's in the Bible? Don't you think? So our big idea today is open and look, right? What are you supposed to open? The Bible. And what are we looking for? Jesus. But here, let me ask you this question, okay? Mr. Blake asked you guys earlier if you liked history, right? Okay. History is all based on facts, right? Things that really did happen. There's dates, there's times, there's people's names. But let me ask you this question. If you're reading a book that's basically poetry, like Green Eggs and Ham, okay, and you're reading it, and in your head you're thinking, this is real stuff. This is history. This really happened. Like, he ate green eggs and ham on a car. Like, come on now. Did it really happen that way? No, right? You read the books differently. You know this one's not real, but you know this one is, right? That is how we have to read the Bible. We have to realize that some of the books are written like history. Some of them are facts. Some are written like poetry that are just things written down for us to learn from, for us to read and just kind of think, what is God trying to tell me in this moment? Okay? It's important when you open the Bible to read to ask, God, what is it that you want me to learn? What is it that I'm supposed to get out of this? Okay? So one more time, what is our big idea today? Open, look. Open and look. Read the Bible. Ask questions. Even Jesus did that when he was a kid. He asked questions. He wanted to know what it was that God had written down in the Bible that they had. It wasn't exactly like the one we have today. It was a little different. But even Jesus wanted to know, and he wanted to learn what God said, and he wanted to share it with other people, right? Okay, I want everybody to bow your heads this morning. I'm going to say a prayer that Jesus will help us to remember to open and look, that we are supposed to open and look for him in the Bible, okay? Jesus, I thank you so much for each and every one of these amazing kids that came to hang out with us today. God, I thank you for everything that we did, with all the fun we had with our games and our songs. Most importantly, I ask that you will help us to remember that we should open and look. God, that it is so important for us to read what you have written in the Bible for us, God, for us to look for you in all the stories. We thank you and we praise you for everything that you have done and everything that you're going to do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I forgot to do Epic Seats earlier, so you'll get a prize, and we'll do some Epic Bucks today too. Do we have Epic Seats picked out? Lucas and Lily. All right, you guys can come grab a snack. Lincoln, will you give them an extra 20 Epic Bucks?